field comes out of line, so they'll sit them around one more time. They must come to the starting line side by side. They're looking for a good, fair, even start. Press box. Who? Seniors from Chablis, juniors from Fern Creek. Fern Creek. All right. Forming up now for the start. Joey Williamson in 53 and Brian Baum in 74. Out of turn number 4. And the green flag is out. And the Winston Bush late model feature event is underway. Brian Baum in 74 moving up to the outside of Joey Williamson, still side by side for the lead with Larry Metters and Roland Isaacs still back on that second row. Keith Gardner drops down to the inside now in 5th position as they hit back into turns 1 and 2 and onto the back straightaway. Kevin Willis in the 41 jumps up to the 2nd or 3rd groove, and it now looks like Jerry Turner in 79 has spun here on the front straightaway. Joey Williamson off onto the infield portion of the first turn area, and now everyone goes scurrying for positions here as 1 or 2 cars got turned around here on the front straightaway. Red flag coming out for 1 lap completed of tonight's NASCAR Winston Racing Series 40-lap feature event. And they'll send them around one more time. Again, looking for that front row to come to the starting line side by side to have a good, fair, even start. And the rest of the field to form up behind them. And one more attempt now to get a green flag. Number 1, Joey Williamson out front with Larry Metters dropping down into 2nd. Brian Baum up on the outside now at 3rd. Bill Kimmel Jr. runs 4th as they move out of turn number 4 and onto the front straightaway. Back into turns 1 and 2. Bill Kimmel Jr. in the number 69, the defending champion, continues now at 3rd position. Down along the inside and continues to challenge Larry Metters for the 2nd place spot. Joey Williamson in the number 53 out front as they move over to turn number 4 and onto the front straightaway. Here's Frank Kimmel in the number 68 down along the inside of Keith Gardner as they race over to turn number 3. And Joe Williamson in the number 11 now, moving down to the inside of Gardner as well as they move back into turns 1 and 2. Bill Kimmel Jr. in the number 69 has a good run going on Larry Metters now for the 2nd place spot as they move over to turn number turn 3, over to turn 4, and back onto the front straightaway. Now Chuck Winders in the number 8 shuffles around the inside of Larry Metters and moves into 3rd position. Brian Baum in the number 74 moves up the banking as Joe Williamson in car number 11 moves around underneath him and into the number 6 spot now as they move back into turns 1 and 2. Now Keith Gardner pulls along the inside of Brian Baum to battle for the number 7 spot as they race over to turn 3. Joey Williamson, the race leader, and here's Bill Kimmel Jr. looking for racing room down along the inside as they race over to turn 4 and onto the front straightaway. Back into turns 1 and 2 now with 10 laps completed and 30 to go. Onto the front straightaway. Here comes Kimmel charging up, trying to take the lead away as they move back into turns 1 and 2. Chuck Winders now in the number 3 spot. The top 3 cars move over to turn 3, over to turn 4, and onto the front straightaway. Larry Metters back in the number 4 position, followed by Frank Kimmel. And then it's the number 11 of Joe Williamson Sr. running in the number 6 position. Battle for the lead over in turn number 4. And it's Bill Kimmel Jr. who goes out into the number 1 spot as Chuck Winders in car number 8 moves down to the inside of Joey Williamson for the number 2 position. Just ahead of our race leaders now, we have Dr. Jeff Berg in car number 27. He is the last car on the lead lap. And Kimmel pulls around Dr. Jeff Berg as Chuck Winders in car number 8 does as well, and Joey Williamson. So the top 3 cars have now put Dr. Jeff Berg 1 lap down as they move on to the back straightaway. 24 laps remaining, and Bill Kimmel Jr. starting things off in 1997 just as the way he ended them in 1996. Up front in the number 1 spot. Chuck Winders in car number 8 continues now at 2nd position as they move back across the start-finish line. Approaching the halfway point of this event with Kimmel out front. Todd Robinson in the number 55 going 1 lap down to the race leaders as they move back into turns 1 and 2. Trouble over in turn number 3 as Joey Williams gets turned around, clips Frank Kimmel. Kimmel goes on a spin over in turn number 3, and it looks like the yellow flag is coming out. The yellow flag coming out, and it looks like there might be some debris on the track over in turns number 3. Along the backstretch areas, we saw Joey Williamson, his car get extremely loose, and then the number 68 of Frank Kimmel's going on a spin. To the halfway point, the race leader is the 2-time defending late model champion, Bill Kimmel Jr., who charged up through from about the first third of the field and has found himself solidly in the number 1 spot. But after the restart, we'll find out if the number 8 of Chuck Winders can shine the light on him, so to speak, in that number 8 machine. And we also have the number 05 of Larry Metters, Joey Williamson up near the front of the field, and the number 98 of 4-time champion Keith Gardner. We're just about set to put them back under green here. Very important race event as we are competing for the NASCAR Winston Racing Series. And they come out of line, so they'll send them around one more time.
How many did you lose in that?
Not very many. They're just
Just dropping out.
dropping in.
Was Joey in there, right?
Oh yeah.
Where's Papa Joe? Is he already out?
Yeah, I guess not. I guess he was in it.
They got the whole thing.
Wait a minute now, who's outside row 3? Or outside row 2, that's Joe.
Oh.
He's fast qualified.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what happens now as Bill Kimmel Jr. and Chuck Winders lead them out at turn number 4. And they're back under green. Ooh, and Joe Williamson in the number 11 moves up the banking a bit and drops back into the field. So, again, the fast qualifier here tonight having a problem negotiating the first turn. At the halfway point, it's Kimmel, followed by Larry Metters, who has somehow found his way around Chuck Winders into the runner-up spot. Now Winders is back at 3rd, and here comes Keith Gardner now. So the top 4 cars are right together out of turn number 4, and look out, Keith Gardner and Chuck Winders have collided up in turns 3 and 4. And it brings the field back under caution. So again, the...
Well, Joe really has trouble that turn.
Onto the back straightaway, Larry Metters in the number 05. Chasing down Bill Kimmel Jr. as they move on to the front straightaway. Joe Williamson Sr. running in 3rd as they move into turns 1 and 2. The number 41 of the rookie driver, Kevin Willis, now on the scoreboard in the number 4 spot. And then David Clyde rounding out the top 5. The 98 of Gardner and then the 8 of Chuck Winters follow as they were relegated to the tail of the field following the restart of the event.
Still on the lead lap.
They're still on the lead lap. Here they come back onto the front straightaway another time. Back into turns 1 and 2. David Clyde in the number 6 chasing down Kevin Willis, trying to find his way around Willis as they head into turns 1 and 2. And right now they've got Gardner and Winters right behind them. Here's Joe Williamson in the number 11, and he made a run on Larry Metters, but then drops back about 2 to 3 car lengths as they move across the start-finish line. Back into turns 1 and 2 another time, and it's Kimmel out front. 2 car lengths right now over Larry Metters as they race over to turn number 4 and onto the front straightaway. Here's Keith Gardner. Oh, and David Clyde makes some contact in turns 3 and 4, and Gardner immediately gets the black flag. So we'll wait and see. And the 41 now, Kevin Willis. Looks like his car is headed towards the pit area. The black flag goes out on Gardner, presumably for the contact with Clyde's car up in turns 3 and 4. Here comes Winters motoring past down along the inside, and Winters now moves into the number 4 spot. 13 laps remaining, and can Larry Metters find his way around Bill Kimmel Jr. over the final few laps? Joe Williamson Sr. for that matter. As they race over to turn 3 and over to turn number 4 and back onto the front straightaway. Here's the number 39 of Ron Phillips now pulling from the pit area and back onto the track. And the race leaders move up behind Dr. Jeff Berg into turns 1 and 2. Berg pulls down to the inside and allows the race leaders to pass on the outside as they move over to turn number 3. Back into turns 1 and 2, and we've got 10 laps to go. Top 3 cars move over to turn number 4 and onto the front straightaway another time. The number 01 of Benny Parker having a good run here tonight in his first appearance here at Louisville Speedway, and he's on the scoreboard in 5th place as he moves that car over to turn number 3. That's Benny Parker and the Russell Racing Team, Chevy Monte Carlo, the number 01 as he moves down the front straightaway and back into turns 1 and 2. Onto the back straightaway another time as Joe Williamson in car number 11 sits in the number 3 position, chasing down Larry Metters. And again, those top 3 cars move onto the front straightaway now with 6 laps remaining. Larry Metters over in turn number 3, and again we're seeing a wisp of smoke out of his car coming out of turn number 1. Joe Williamson looks for racing room on the inside. Now Williamson drops back about a car length and a half behind him. Less than 5 laps remaining. Back into turns 1 and 2 another time. 4 to go, and it's Kimmel out front now by about 5 car lengths. Back into turns 1 and 2. Again, Chuck Winters sits at a distant 4th. And now the leaderboard posting the number 6 of David Clyde on the leaderboard in the number 5 position. So David Clyde in the number 6 is in the number 5 position. Todd Robinson in the number 55 back out onto the racetrack another time. And the white flag's out for Kimmel. He leads it by about 6 car lengths into turns 1 and 2. Over in turn number 3. Onto the front straightaway, and Bill Kimmel Jr. picks up the win. Larry Metters for 2nd, and Joe Williamson finishes up in 3rd.